My boyfriend and his first love were arrested for hooking up in a public park. When I bailed them out at the police station, he held her tightly in his arms to shield her. Dark hickeys covered both of their necks. Serafina lost her job. I just took her to the park to cheer her up. I wanted to scream at him, yet all my words died in my throat. Nothing was worth fighting for anymore. I refused to become the nagging, controlling woman he always accused me of being. I simply hung my head, signed the paperwork, and paid the fine in silence. The officer asked the routine question, "What's your relationship with the detainees?" I glanced at Sterling Ross, who still clung to Serafina Quinn, and let out a cold sneer. "We're just roommates." I typed quickly on my phone and sent a message to my father. "Dad, I agreed to the arranged marriage you mentioned. I'll head home on Christmas Eve." Heavy rain poured down the moment we left the station. I finally hailed a cab and reached for the door, only for Sterling to shove me aside and pull Serafina into the back seat first. He glanced back at me with a matter-of-fact tone. "I'm taking Serafina home first. She's traumatized after being locked up. Go find another cab." I stared at Serafina through the window. She was far from shaken. A smug smirk lingered clearly on her lips. "This cab is mine," I said in a frigid voice. "Get your own ride." Sterling's face darkened instantly. "Why do you always have to be so hostile, Leora? Is it that hard for you to be considerate?" "I've already explained. Serafina was upset over her job loss, so I took her out to clear her mind. Everyone there simply misunderstood the situation. The evidence was undeniable, but he still wove such a ridiculous lie with utter confidence. He dared to act this shamelessly solely because he knew I loved him. Before I could reply, he squeezed into the backseat beside Serafina and snatched my umbrella away. Cold rain soaked my clothes in an instant, and I trembled from the bitter chill. "This is all your fault for being late. You have no idea how humiliating this was for us. Head home alone. I'm staying with Serafina for a while." Serafina leaned against the window, watching my miserable state with a bright, triumphant smile. "I'm so sorry, Leora. Sterling's just really worried about me." Sterling gave her an almost tender gaze. "Don't waste your breath talking to her." He rolled up the window, told the driver to leave, and abandoned me on the rainy curb like a drowned stray cat. Rain streamed down my hair, blurring my vision and snuffing out the last spark of hope in my heart. I'd always known he didn't care about me, but I never thought he could be this cruel. Crushed and exhausted, I waited for another taxi. 4 hours later, long after nightfall, a new car finally stopped for me. By the time I got home, I had a splitting headache and a scratchy, sore throat. A message from my dad popped up with an attached photo. "This is Callum Vance, the man for your arranged marriage. What do you think of him?" I didn't even glance at his face before replying flatly, "He's perfect." Truthfully, I no longer cared who I married. 6 years ago, I ran away from home to escape my family's arranged marriage. I left everything behind and came to Briarfield alone. I was broke, lonely, and completely helpless. It was then, at my lowest point, that I met Sterling. He had just graduated and was stuck in a miserable dead-end job. We comforted each other through our hardships, and he brought me to his small rented apartment. I once believed I'd found true love. Throughout our 6 years together, I gave him everything. I helped him climb from a junior employee to a top company executive. I ghostwrote all his project proposals and stood as his silent backup for every performance review. Yet every time I summoned the courage to talk about marriage, he made endless excuses and told me to wait. This was the reward for my endless patience. My boyfriend cheating on me with his first love. I was done waiting. I swallowed 2 cold medicine pills and started sorting through my things, tossing items away one by one. Beneath the coffee table, I found a crumpled stack of flight stubs traveling between Briarfield and the UK. The last ticket was dated 3 days before Serafina returned to the country. Serafina had been studying in the UK all these years. It turned out he'd always had free time, just never for me. Every missed anniversary, every forgotten Valentine's Day, every late-night business trip was a lie, spent traveling to see Serafina.